Welcome to another edition of the Don't Argue. All thanks to Palmerbet, our great friends down at Palmerbet. What an organisation they are too. And Gids, this NRL season, as I say, a very good evening to you. One of the best in the business too, Kirk Gidley. I shouldn't undersell you, mate. You are an absolute superstar of the sport. And we love you.
Yeah. No, the boys at Palmerbet, mate, they're doing an outstanding job, mate, with these statistics that they just keep pumping out every week for us. It's outstanding. But, mate, great to be on again, Matty, and thanks for hosting.
It actually makes me sound like I know what I'm talking about, Gids, when they give me our stats each and every week.
Mate, there's no need to dive too deep on where the stats come from, mate. You love and breathe your NRL, and I know that. And you do a great job, mate.
I tell you what I do, and I'm even getting a lot of my mates into it down in Victoria, Gids. Now I can assure you that they're an watcher of the Don't Argue each week, and they are loving their NRL.
Good stuff.
Thursday and Friday night, sensational.
G'day to all the boys.
G'day to the boys, all right. Hey, Gids, what around last week? Yeah, it was only a small round, of course, because we're Origin and all that stuff's happening at the moment, but. Just some of the results that we're seeing, and it can be tricky, and we've spoken about this at length. This time of the year, anything can throw up. But this round of matches last week, and the Cowboys, with that huge win over, that was a cracking game too. Went to Golden Point, could have gone either way.
Yeah,
everything, didn't it, Gids?
Mate, that was a cracking game. I forget where I was, but I was definitely, I caught most of the game, but certainly the back end of the game, I was sort of on the edge of my seat and cheering on both teams, field goals, and then ended up with a try, which sealed the deal in the end. It was a pretty fair try, to be honest, to Drinkwater who crossed the line. But yeah, crazy sort of back end of the game. But mate, as you're saying, Matty, there's just always a couple of genuine upsets every week. There's a couple of disappointing tips that you think you're definitely a special on every week. And I guess, mate, that's keeping the rounds exciting, but it's certainly, I imagine, keep some of the punters frustrated, or certainly me anyway.
I reckon the Palmerbet boys are just rubbing their hands together every week because they're just the results have been going up. Surely they're going to be winning. The big boys and the big bosses of Palmerbet, mate. I have to ask you, big fella. I must admit, I lost. I took a heap of multis. I called I think I said the M word last week, the moral word for the Knights against. The Chooks, buddy, and go down by 2 points. That was a disappointing loss because you've had a really good season, and that game was there to win for the Newcastle boys, wasn't it?
Oh, for sure, Matty. We spoke about it last week. I mean, Knights almost full strength. They had Daniel Safudi pull out last minute with a sternum injury, but outside of that, Tyson Frizzell is the only Origin player for both New South Wales or Queensland, and 20,000 people at Newcastle on a Sunday afternoon, 3 o'clock. There's no better time to play, mate. 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. So I thought it was a really somber mood with the fans walking out of the stadium on Saturday because Roosters they got a number of issues with players out injured, suspended, and Luke Keary broke his jaw in the first half. So I thought there was enough class on the Knights side to get it done. So that's a pretty hurtful loss, that one, mate.
Yeah, what's it like, being a great at Newcastle Knights? Like you're a superstar, you're a club legend. What's it like at a game, at a loss like that, when you're walking through the crowd out of the venue? People pulling you up? Are they saying, what are we doing, Gids? What's happening here? Like what's it like?
Oh, mate, yeah. I mean, I see myself as a genuine supporter of the current squad and a real proud old boy too, mate. So I ride the highs and lows and the wins and losses throughout the year and throughout the game. So I'm on the edge of my seat. I actually went around to our old boys box, which was, had some cracking old boys from over the years, Billy Peden, Robbie McCormack from the early days, Steve Crow, 97 grand final winner. So yeah, we ride the emotions of the rest of the fans at the stadium. So maybe we're always there to support the current players and the coaching staff. But yeah, no doubt everyone walked out pretty disappointed.
Mate, Parramatta, they were way too good for Manly, who had a lot of players missing, obviously, but that was a good win.
Yeah, no, it was mate, it was a really, really good win for the Eels. Sea Eagles, mate, had a couple of their Origin players out, but again, I think, mate, this is possibly the time for the Eels, mate, to hit some form and have a real run for this back end of the year. I think they were pretty poor start at the start of the year, so I think it's time to hit their straps now.
Hey, what about the Melbourne Storm, Gids? They just continue that run against the West Tigers. It has been a phenomenal one. But the real story out of that was Alex Twal. First try scorer in 116 games, mate. That was really uplifting, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Look, I think he'd come close a couple of times throughout the year, or certainly throughout his career. But, mate, it's a bit of luck and fortune that, off a last play, kick, bounced off a couple of blokes, and all of a sudden, I think it was two front rowers there, actually, Dave Clemmer and Alex Twal. So, yeah, Clem maybe just give him a little bit of leeway just to get his hands down on the ball there, and a great reaction from his teammates and the fans there. So, stoked to get the monkey off his back for that one.
Hey, mate, sensational round.
Could be a flurry coming now for him,
this
mate.
could be it. He's just got the confidence levels up, mate. Look out. Tom try scorer this weekend for the West Tigers. Hey, Gids, I want to have a look back now. And this was your pre-season top 8 finish. And you went with, and this is, we've got 11 rounds to go. So you went with the Panthers on top, who are currently sitting in second position. So they'll finish top 8. They are an absolute lock.
Pretty comfortable. Yep.
Second,
there's one for me.
Second position, Gids, the Roosters, currently sitting in 11th. Everyone's expecting, them to turn the corner. Was last weekend's win, is that the corner change? Is that the season defining kind of moment where they because they're currently sitting in 11th. So they've got a bit of work to do, but do you reckon that might be enough to spark them up?
Mate, I don't think so. I mean, yeah, as I say, they've lost Luke Keary. Obviously, Sam Walker's been in and out of the team at various times this year. A few blokes still to get through their Origin game 2 and game 3. So I think they're still a bit shaky at the moment, the Roosters. Obviously, Victor Vadley, I think he's back this week, which is a big inclusion. But, yeah, I'm still not sure that the Roosters are comfortable to make the 8, mate, at this stage. Yeah, 11th position at the moment, but still got a fair bit of work to do, I think.
So they're
still missing a few.
They're the ones. So they're the ones that you're thinking are going to be shaky, right? So you had them in second. Sharks you had for third. They're currently sitting in fifth. So that's possibly, I reckon that's a lock to finish in the top 8. Cowboys, another one in the top 4, currently sitting 13th. You had them in 4th position. There was a good win last week. Same thing, mate. They need to string 4 or 5 together in a row now, don't they?
For sure. These teams that I probably had locked in for the top of 8, Eels, Cowboys, Roosters, they definitely need a string. You need some consistent footy week in, week out where you're banking 6-8 points in a row. That's for sure, to get on a run. So I still think they're in a pretty shaky scenario at the moment. I know they've still got a fair few guys that are playing Origin and backing up at this stage. So there'll be guys in and out of their squad over the next month still. So still a real question mark, I think, on the Cowboys for this season. It's a long way to come from 13th position at the moment.
Mate, it's a long way, and there's a bit of a logjam too in that kind of middle rung of the ladder too, Gids.
Yeah.
Hey, Rabbitohs, they're currently 4th. That is a lock. That is a big tick for you there, big fella. Eels currently 8th. A little bit shaky from time to time, but I actually reckon they're going to be a lock. I reckon they're going to come good in the back half of the year. Storm, currently 3rd. You had them in at 7th position, mate. We know you don't like the Storm. Yeah. So we don't take it personally there.
No, I do.
I'm only joking. I'm only steering you, mate. But they're a lock, mate. They'll play finals again. Raiders are the team you had in 8th position. They're sitting in 7th, so they're in the 8. So that's a pass mark at the moment. Even though their best and their worst is kind of a fair bit of a difference there. And the other 2 teams that are actually in the top 8 that we haven't discussed were the Broncos and the Warriors. So they're the 2 surprise packets from the start of the season. Nobody knew what the Broncos were going to deliver. They had a really tumultuous off season, didn't they, Gids? But their season has been brilliant. I reckon they deserve to be. I think they're second favourite for the flag. I reckon they deserve it because I reckon they are playing really good attacking rugby league.
100% with you, Matty. They've played some great attacking footy and some real genuine speed in their outside backs and a pretty big, rangy forward pack too. So, definitely Broncos are locked in for the top 8 this year. And I guess, Raiders, do show some inconsistency throughout their season. Whether they can maintain that 7th, 8th position is probably a question mark on that one. So, mate, for my Smoky, geez, can the Roosters pick their season up? I'm not sure. And can the Cowboys make a run for it at the back end of the year, come from 13th? I don't know.
I'm going to ask out of those two teams, Roosters and Cowboys, who will make it? Which one out of them two?
Oh, well, the Roosters have still got some guys to come back from injury too. So if they can get the majority of their squad back on the park over the next month, they're a strong club, great coach. I think they're a chance sitting in 11th at the moment. There's a lot of ifs and buts there, though.
Mate, I'd nearly be going the other way. I don't know. I reckon the Cowboys, because they're hard to beat at home.
Cowboys.
I reckon maybe if they win all their home games and they pinch 3 or 4 away, which I think is doable for them, they got a big fraud pack for mine. And when they get up and about, they might be the one that might come. Hey, let's have a look at this weekend's round of matches, Gids. Shortened round, of course, this weekend. Friday night, it kicks off 8 p.m. at Wynn Stadium. It's the Dragons taking on the Warriors. Dragons at $2.55, all thanks to Palmerbet. Warriors at $1.52. At the line, Dragons plus 5.5 $1.90. Warriors minus 5.5 $1.90. Key stats, all thanks to Palmerbet. The Dragons, the Jacks are back with Jack Bird and Jack DeBalen to return for the Dragons, with Ben Hunt questionable with a quick turnaround, of course, from Origin. For the Warriors, Dylan Walker is set to return for his first game since round 11, been missing for 6 or 7 weeks. Dragons have won their past 3 games against the Warriors. Warriors have won only one of their past 11 games at Wynn Stadium. And Dragons winger, Michaeli Ravalawa, has scored 4 tries in his past 3 games at Wynn Stadium. What's your thoughts on this one, mate? I reckon it's a really tough one.
Oh, mate. Well, the absolute circus surrounding the Dragons at the moment, Ben Hunt's like ridiculous. It blows my mind. For the captain of the club requesting a release through his management, and then there's speculation whether he wants to pay his year out or pay up to 150,000 or 90,000, whatever the figure is. It just blows my mind that the one leader or the single leader of the playing group wants out so bad. So I can't get on the Warriors heavily enough here. I'm normally on the Dragons at Wynn Stadium, but I think it's the Warriors 13 plus here because there's too much turmoil. And if my teammate was so desperate to get out and my captain, I wouldn't be up for playing too strongly. I'd have some doubt. I'd have some.
Can that steal you though a little bit, Gids? Can that actually fire you up and go the other way? Do you reckon that they actually go, you know what, we want to show them that we've got a bit of upside here?
Yeah, potentially, mate. Just depends how strong the rest of the leadership group and the playing group is. Yeah. I mean, if I was the leader, or if I was one of the leaders amongst that group now, I'd be grabbing the rest of my teammates at this stage while he's away in Origin camp, and certainly having a pretty heart-to-heart talk with my teammates around playing for each other.
Yeah.
And just, he can go. I'd be letting him go. Right. I know the club doesn't want to. I know Shane Flanagan doesn't want to, but yeah.
He's such a good player. Barometer for those boys. When he's up and about, they're up and about, aren't they? Wherever he ends up and wherever he lands, he's going to be a big recruit, that is for sure, and going to be plenty more to come, I reckon, in regards to the Ben Hunt saga. Hey, Dolphins Saturday, 3 p.m. at Sunshine Coast Stadium. What a beautiful part of the world it is up there. Head-to-head, Dolphins $2.50, Eels at $1.54. At the line, the Dolphins plus 5.5 $1.90, Eels minus 5.5 $1.90, all thanks to Palmerbet. Key stats here, Dolphins halfback Sean O'Sullivan could make a remarkable return from a pec injury, which has kept him out since round 4, which would be a massive in, while Felice Kafusi returns after suspension. While for the Eels, Mitch Moses and Junior Paulo could back up from Origin with the game, obviously, in Queensland. Junior Paulo, such an important player. Dolphins will play their first NRL game at Sunshine Coast Stadium. This is exciting for that area. Eels were crushed 56-10 by Manly in their only previous game on the sunny coast. And Dolphins fullback Jermaine Asako has scored 6 tries in his past 4 games. Dolphins need to get back on the winners list here, Gids.
Yeah, they do, mate. I mean, that's a big recovery if Sean O'Sullivan can get back from that pec injury. It's such a quick turnaround. Felice Kafusi, a big inclusion as well. But I think maybe the Eels are starting to play with plenty of confidence at the moment, which is always dangerous. I mean, Junior Paulo and Mitchell Moses is a big a couple of inclusions if they can back up from Origin. I still think the Eels can go on a bit of a run at the moment. I think they're 4 on the bounce at the moment. And I've just jumped into the little palm bet, the try bet. And I've gone for the Eels minus 8.5 instead of minus 5.5. Just get a little bit more value there at 2.30.
Yeah. Love it, mate. Absolutely love it, big fella. You are getting around that Palmer Bet app, which is so simple.
Palmer Bet app.
Hey, Panthers taking on your Newcastle Knights Saturday, 5:30 p.m. at Panthers Stadium. Head to head, the Panthers $1.30. Knights at 3.56. Gids at the line. The Panthers minus 10.5 $1.90. Knights plus 10.5 $1.90. Key stats for the Panthers: 5 Origin players are all to be confirmed, with the game only being played 3 days after game number 2. So it'll all depend on minutes. Obviously, for the Knights, Daniel Safidi set to return after sitting out last week, but the Knights do lose Fitzgibbon to a HIA, while Tyson Frizzle is also questionable. Panthers are 1-11 and drawn 1 of their past 13 games against the Knights. That's not good, kids. Knights have won only 1 from 6 away from home in 2023, so they don't travel well. And Panthers winger Brian To'o has scored 5 tries in 5 games against the Knights. Gids, I know every week, mate. You are red hot with your Newcastle Knights. Tell me, hang on this week, big fella.
Nah, pissed off, Matty, after last week. I'm disappointed. So I can't back the Knights head to head here on this one.
Wow.
Greg Marju is back. I moved on pretty quickly from that, man. But Greg Marju is back on the wing after missing the bus in Brisbane, it was, I think. So he's a big inclusion. He's been had a big year for us. Dom Young on the other wing continues to be one of our best performers week in, week out. So, mate, I've looked at a bit of a multi this week for total points under 40.5 and either team to win by 12 or less points. So you just get a bit more value at about $3.80.
Right, so under 40.5, and then
so I think it's going to be a cool night, mate.
Yep. So low scoring.
Cool night. A few blokes might be backing up from Origin. Low scoring.
Yeah.
So I think bit of value, mate, there for that multi.
And you're actually going the Panthers to defeat the Knights.
Mate, I'll get my head-to-head picks at the end of the night here. Let's move on.
So we have it, right? This is great. I thought there was history in the making here, but maybe not. Right, it's Melbourne Storm take on the Seagulls. This game is Saturday night, 7:35 p.m. Amy Park. It'll be rocking. Head-to-head, the Storm $1.35. Manly $3.23. Storm at the line minus 9.5 $1.90. Seagulls plus 9.5 $1.90. Key stats, all thanks to Palmer Bet. So the Origin players, Cam Munster, Harry Grant, Xavier Coates, they'll all be monitored. But Christian Welsh is a certain starter after serving his suspension, so he's a big in. For the Seagulls, Turbo and Daly Cherry Evans will be monitored after Origin with the quick backup as well. So they kind of cancel each other out in some degree there. Storm have won their past 5 games at Amy Park, so they're on fire at home. Manly won their round 7 clash 18-8. But they've not beat the Storm twice in a season since 2015. Can they do it this year, Gids?
Yeah, but I think there's another player back from the Storm, Justin Olam, who has been out recently as well. And you know how much of a powerhouse he is, but he's carrying the ball even defensively, how aggressive he is. So, again, those Origin players backing up, a few question marks there. But I'm going for an upset here. I know both these teams have got it's a pretty solid rivalry, and both teams get right up for this game. I know the Storm have had a couple of decent wins recently, but I don't know. I know probably depends on Turbo and DCE backing up, but I just think every week there's a couple of genuine upsets, and Eagles, mate, head to head here, they're paying $3, over $3. So this is going to be my smoky. This one,
mate,
$3.23. That's
Craig Bellamy gets this little podcast every week, mate. I reckon he replays it to the Storm. Fire him up and just say,
mate, I love Belly. Don't worry about that.
Nah, right.
He would not be worried what I'm saying on a podcast. Craig Bellamy, don't worry about that.
It'll be an absolute ripper too, make no mistake about it. But they have beaten them this year, and they beat them quite convincingly in their round 7 clash. So who knows? Righto, Broncos v Titans, Sunday 2 p.m. Suncorp Stadium. Head to head, Broncos $1.35. Titans at $3.23. Broncos at the line minus $9.5 $1.90. Titans plus $9.5 $1.90. Key stats, all thanks to Palmerbet. All four Broncos Origin stars are a chance to back up, while Selwyn Cobbo should be good to return from a hip injury. For the Titans, Kieran Foran is expected to return, while their Origin stars will also be monitored. So it's a little bit of the unknown. We know that. Broncos have won their past 4 games against the Titans. Titans have scored at least 26 points in 7 of their past 8 games. So scoring hasn't been an issue. And the Broncos have won 3 from 3 against Queensland-based opponents in 2023. It's hard to go past the Broncos at the moment. They're just doing what they need to do to win, aren't they, Gids?
Yeah, for sure, mate. For sure, they've been one of the form teams. They're playing some really good footy, certainly some really good attacking footy. I think the Titans sort of get up for this rivalry, being the bit of the little brother tag here, and potentially, the Broncos looking down on them a little bit. So I think they've got up, the Titans, for these type of games, and being at Suncorp Stadium, I think I'll be right up for this one. So I think it'll be tighter than what everyone thinks, maybe, and mate, you get a bit more value around the Broncos 1-12. Broncos 1-12 are paying just over $3 here, so
that's the way
I'm
to
going to jump on that one.
Yeah, that's the way to go, especially if you think it's going to be relatively close. And scoring has been, at a premium for the Titans all year. So it might be a high-scoring affair again. The clash of the 2 Queensland teams. Hey, Rabbitohs taking on the Cowboys Sunday, 4:05 at the Core Stadium. Rabbitohs $1.43 head-to-head. Cowboys $2.85. At the line, the Rabbits -7.5 at $1.90. Cowboys +7.5 at $1.90. Key stats here. Rabbitohs Cody Walker set to return after missing last week, while Cam Murray will be monitored after Origin. Cowboys Origin stars also will be monitored. The only possible changes to the team coming off that good win against Penrith last week. Can they take a big scalp again? And the Rabbits would be that big scalp, and they'd certainly, I suppose, impose themselves on the competition in some way, shape, or form if they can get the 2 points.
Yeah, for sure, mate. The Cowboys have won a couple of decent games recently, which will certainly give them the belief and confidence they've been looking for all year. I think the Rabbitohs have been a little bit inconsistent, mate, over the last probably month, I think. They're one of the form teams throughout the start of the year until we probably hit the Origin period. I don't think Cam Murray will back up and play 2 games in 1 week with he's only just been cleared to play Origin with a groin injury. I think he was overcoming. So, again, I think on the back of what stats we've seen throughout the year, I think there could be an upset on the cards here with the Cowboys maybe pipping the Rabbits on this one, head-to-head.
Gee whiz, mate.
Getting some decent value, $2.85.
I can't wait to see your big multi here. You'll pick 6 or 7. What is it? 7 games, I think. So I can't wait to see it, big fella. Because there is going to be some value here this weekend. Hey, Roosters v the Raiders, final game of the round, Sunday, 6:15 p.m. at Allianz Stadium. And head-to-head, Roosters $1.59, Raiders at $2.37. How can they value? The Roosters -4.5 at the line, $1.90. Raiders +4.5. $1.90. Key stats here. The Roosters, Luke Keary is unlikely to play, but Victor Radley is set to return from suspension. The Raiders' only question is Hudson Young backing up from Origin, but being Sunday night, every chance. Roosters have won 4 from 5 at Allianz Stadium. Raiders have won only 3 of their past 20 games against the Roosters in Sydney. So that's a damning stat. The Roosters have the worst attacking record in competition. I must admit, kids, Roosters had the win against the Knights last week. They only scraped in. I actually reckon the market's a little bit. I reckon it should be a hell of a lot tighter.
I think it should be a hell of a lot tighter too, mate. And again, there's some fair odds here, mate, for the Raiders. I mean, the Raiders, as you say, they're only missing Hudson Young from Origin, and he was a big chance, I think, of backing up, to be honest, when it's a Sunday game. And, mate, I don't think, although the Roosters will be happy with that win against Newcastle last weekend, they're still missing some pretty key players to their team, and I think they'll still find this one a real challenging match, mate, against the Raiders. So, again, I'm going to go for an outsider here, mate, and take the Raiders, mate, head-to-head.
I can't wait for this all up, mate. This is going
to be... Throwing it out there, mate. It's
going to be huge this week.
Exciting, mate.
Myself, because I'm just liking the confidence. Hey, Gids, let's have a look at your results last week. So your Gids get on last week. 1 out of 2. Sharks got the 13+ victory for you, mate. You had Ronaldo Mulatalo to score first try. I think he scored third.
That
third,
was nice. Spewing.
That was actually a really good bet.
Ronaldo. I wonder what the odds would have been for Ronaldo to be any-time try scorer of it. Anyway, no, you got to get it right, mate. But
it actually still would have been decent, I reckon. Don't worry about that, mate. And you went 3 from 5 just on the Panthers, and your Newcastle Knights let you down as well. So not too bad, big fella.
But both favourites. Both favourites.
And you only narrowly, Panthers go down narrowly, and obviously your Knights only lose by a couple.
Yeah, golden point, and 2 points. Mate, unbelievable.
Now listen, what do we got? Because this is going to be. I'm getting the phone. The phone's actually nervous.
This is exciting, mate. Get the phone ready. Get the Palmer bet up, and mate, just punch in this. Pick the round. Okay, Warriors.
Yes.
Warriors. Eels.
Yes.
Panthers.
Yes.
Sea Eagles away in Melbourne.
Yes.
Broncos, tight one against the Titans.
Yep.
Cowboys upsetting the Rabbitohs.
Wowzers. Yep.
And the Canberra Raiders, outsiders against the Sydney Roosters at Allianz Stadium.
Mate.
Just tell me the math on that one, mate. Tell me the math on that one.
May as well just round it up to 100 to 1, big fella. $99.12, kid.
Holy
mate, seriously, I'm throwing something on just for the Kirk Gidley factor, to be honest, because you haven't been far away, and the season's thrown up. And I reckon a couple of those markets are a little bit skew, if anyway. So, that is unbelievable.
I mean, again, there's well, you look at the two I missed out on last week. Knights and Panthers were both favourites, heavy favourites in those games. So. There's 2 to 3 genuine upsets every week, and let's hope a few of mine are amongst those.
Love it. The Palmer bet boys won't hope. They want that. They don't want that getting up, mate. Otherwise, there's going to be people dancing in the street. What about the Gids get on? What do you like for the week, mate? What's your best?
Mate, the Gids get on. I've got. I'm going to go with the Raiders again in this game, and my multi is Raiders 1 to 12 up against the Roosters, and Raiders to score first. I think if they're to beat the Roosters at Allianz Stadium, they need to get off to a flying start and make some great odds there too. $5.26. So only a 2-leg multi, but some decent odds. Yeah,
absolutely it is, mate. So Raiders 1 to 12 and Raiders to score first. That's a pretty solid bet, mate. Yep. So I love it. That is the Gids get on this week. Download the Palm Bet app. Seriously, it is a really, really simple app to navigate through. You can put all your multis on. It's just it's really simple. It's great. It's easy. And it's just there's not a concern. There's always plenty of stuff to do in there as well and have a look at. It's just
it's fun.
It is
pretty exciting.
It is fun, but always remember, gamble and do it in a responsible manner, and remember what you're actually really gambling with. That is the key message, kids, as it is each and every week. Big fella, always a pleasure, mate. I love having a chat. We're starting to get down to the business end of the season too. And this back half of this year, I reckon the first half has been magnificent. If the back half lives up to the first, kids, we are going to be in for one heck of a finish. And I reckon there's going to be so much movement in that ladder come the back half of the season. Teams will be in, they'll be out, they'll be moving all around the joint. So it's going to be so exciting, isn't it?
Maybe it's a real interesting time of the year. I reckon, Matty, when you get this halfway point, blokes are carrying injuries, teams are missing players, whether it's suspensions or concussions or long-term injuries. So you'll have some players coming back at the moment. And obviously some blokes, limping through at this stage of the year, just trying to get to game day, let alone through training. So interesting transition into the back end of the year now, it will be.
And I didn't really pick up before, but you actually did go the Panthers over the Newcastle Knights, which, kids, in 2 years doing this show, I've got a feeling that might be the first time you've ever tipped against the Knights.
Might be a bit of reverse psychology there, mate, but... It come on the back of some frustrations walking out of the state. I did.
Trying to sneak it under the thing. You just didn't want too much made of it, mate. But
you know where my heart lies, that's for sure.
Hey, mate, going to be a fantastic weekend of NRL, that is for sure. Look forward to it, mate. And as we said, gamble responsibly. The Don't Argue, all thanks to Palmer Bet. And we'll talk next week, kids.
For sure, Matty. All the best, everyone. Have a great weekend.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.